Hi, welcome. I'm Elle Ingalls, creator of the Pressure Free Method, and I'm so glad that you're here to take a look at this webinar. So if you're on live with me, thanks so much for coming on. At the end of this, I will stop the recording and we'll open up for questions and answers, and then you can participate with me. And if you're watching this as a recorded version on the replay, I appreciate you coming to take a look at what I have in store for you today. So I have created this webinar specifically about weight loss and keeping it off. So have you ever tried to lose weight and had trouble? Well, that's what this is going to be about. So I'm going to pop up my slides and we'll dive right in here. Let's screen share here. And pop it up and let's hit play. So I've titled this 3 Secrets to Losing Weight and Keeping It Off that have nothing to do with food or exercise. So it's going to be a little bit different than some things that you may have already encountered about weight loss. I'm your host, Elle Ingalls. I'm a speaker, author, and performance coach, and I really help people up-level their health, their wealth, and their relationships by reducing stress, anger, and anxiety. So today in this program, here we go. We're going to basically go over the biggest obstacle to losing weight and keeping it off. I'm going to share with you what might be the #1 cause of weight gain for you that's unrelated to food and exercise. The #1 thing that may cause you to gain fat cells, and how to uncover a secret reason that's preventing you from losing weight. It seems like we all have this one secret reason, and we'll do a little bit of work with that today for you. Then I'm going to share with you my pressure-free food for fuel formula. Maybe you've already received that as a free gift from me. So if you want to download it, print it out. I'm going to put it right up on the screen here too. But we'll go over that so you have some great tips that you can use right away. How to boost your digestion and also how to power up your metabolism, and so much more today. So have you ever felt like you're off to a good start losing weight, only to have the pounds returned? I'm going to raise my hand right there. That has surely happened to me. And after having 3 babies and gaining a lot of weight with my babies, I had to do that baby weight thing too. Have you ever wished that you had more willpower to stick with your weight loss plan? So maybe you get started okay, but then you just seem to have a lack of willpower? Or you're worried that if you don't get a handle on your weight, your health is really going to start to suffer. So is this your time? Is this your time to finally release the weight that you've had for years for good? Is this your time to work smarter and not harder to have a healthy body? Is this your time to make small changes that are going to stick, to really do it? This is for you if you're open to trying a new approach. You're looking for effective, lasting change, and you want a natural, healthy approach to weight loss. Here's a bit of my own story. I've always thought of myself as a fairly thin person, but I've had my issues. I suffered from stress fat on my abdomen that started building in high school. I gained over 60 pounds with 2 of my pregnancies and found it hard to lose the weight. I've also suffered from being underweight. And I've had some fear of diabetes, cancer, and heart disease that are all in family history for me. Maybe that's true for you too. Now thousands of people have taken my courses and worked with me privately or attended one of my workshops or retreats. Here are some of the things that these clients have had happen for them. They're reducing their weight and their level of stress fat. They're boosting their willpower and their self-worth. They're improving their heart health and cellular health. And they're rarely, if ever, sick anymore. Reducing and even eliminating diseases like IBS, colitis, ulcers, and constipation, things to do with our digestion. So let's dive into some secrets. Secret #1, perhaps I'm starting with the biggest one, I think. Learn to stop the release of stress hormones with the pressure-free method. That is the first secret I want to share with you today. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment, and I want to imagine this. Imagine if you could stop stress fat from building on your abdomen and in your arteries. Gain more control over the amount of sugar in your blood. Prevent fat cells from getting larger. Have more willpower. Feel happier so that you don't turn to certain foods to feel good. Okay, you can open your eyes, and now I want to share with you some of the effects of the fight or flight stress response. Have you heard of that before, fight or flight? I call it fight, flight, or freeze because it seems like those tend to be one of the three things that you do when you feel certain emotions. You either want to get aggressive and fight, or you want to run away and flee, or you freeze like a deer or a bunny, and you're not sure what to do next. When we trigger the fight or flight stress response, two floods of hormones go out. I'm only going to briefly share it here, but the first flood are called catecholamines, and the chief one is adrenaline, so I'm going to refer to it as adrenaline. But then there's a second flood called glucocorticoids, glucose and cortisol. So they're happening at different times. Both of them have a lot of different effects, but both floods actually cause a lot of sugar to be dumped into your bloodstream. So this is really critical, especially if you're someone that's got some weight on them that is also fearful of diabetes or has diabetes. So what I'm sharing with you today could be so powerful. These are just some of the effects of these floods of hormones when they go through your bloodstream, because really all we want to do in fight or flight is be in survival mode and protect our physical body from an attack. Unfortunately, there are a lot of side effects. I like to think of these things as side effects from triggering fight or flight. You can have really impaired judgment, and that's the idea that willpower shifts and changes. Your willpower center actually shuts down in fight or flight. You're going to be in a state where all you want to do is, again, fight or run away or freeze. So we sometimes have trouble thinking well. You'll have memory lapses. You may experience dry eye and dry mouth. Your saliva ducts are going to stop. Now that's really huge if you're trying to lose weight, because if your saliva ducts are not producing saliva, then you can't break down your food properly, and more will be turned to fat. Blushing, have you ever felt embarrassed and felt your face turn red? Changes in hearing and vision, that feeling like someone's talking to you but it's just going right over your head. Uncoordination, trembling, like you might hold out your hand or your legs shake. Perspiration, for sure, your palms, your underarms, your feet will even sweat. If you have a sweaty foot issue, it could be stress issue. Relaxed bladder and sphincter. So some of my clients, and this has happened to me too, like I instantly have to go to the bathroom if I go into fight or flight. Maybe that's the same for you. Your entire digestive system is going to slow down when you go into fight or flight. That's huge because that's how you're going to digest. You're digesting your food, and if you're not properly doing it, more is going to turn to fat for you. Your reproductive system slows down too. Now in the glucocorticoid state, when those hormones go out, here are some of their effects. First, you can have some negative thoughts, anxiety. When cortisol hits the brain, it does two things. It's your wake-up call, so it can cause insomnia in you, and that's why you can't get to sleep at night. Or you get to sleep, but at 2 or 3 a.m. you're wide awake. And then thoughts of anxiety. Cortisol can cause you to feel anxious. Brain neuron damage, so it leads to Alzheimer's, memory loss, problems like that. Blood pressure, of course, goes up. Fat in the arteries, fat in the abdomen, and that's happening in the adrenaline stage too. It's wicking all this fat and glucose to the center of your body, and then it stays there, and the cortisol actually makes it expand. So that's expanding your fat cells. It doesn't have anything to do with what you're eating or how you're exercising. It's just the fact that these hormones are going through your bloodstream and affecting these parts of your body. Again, the blood sugar imbalance. Your thyroid slows down. So your thyroid, I like to think of your thyroid as a beautiful butterfly. A beautiful butterfly, this little thing that really controls your body processes. Some of my clients are missing their thyroid due to thyroid problems or thyroid cancer. So your thyroid gland is really, I think of it as very precious. And it is like your body's thermostat, and it really plays a chief role in metabolism. So when that slows down, when you're in this fight or flight cycle, then your thyroid is very confused. And so that can affect how you're metabolizing your food. You're going to have a lower immune system, slower healing, up to 40% slower, and then muscle and bone loss, which is important because you're going to need to start to do some sort of exercise to begin to get your body working for you the way you want it to. So these are just some of the effects of fight or flight. Let's see if this is working for me. Hello. There we go. So now I'm going to share with you the pressure-free method. I created this method in 2010, and this method is very specific to help you stop the release of these fight or flight stress hormones. I want you to think for a moment, what can happen if you actually stop the release of these hormones in their body if they cause all of those effects I just shared on the last screen? So when you think about that, I call these your targets, your why. What would happen to you if you weren't triggering fight or flight? How would your body be different? How would your mind be different? How would you be able to get a handle on your willpower? So here's some questions I want you to ask. And if you're taking notes, this is a perfect time to start to write down the beginning of your why, your targets. What are you aiming for? Why do you want to lose weight? And you can keep asking that question to yourself. Okay, so why do I want to lose weight? First of all, I've got a little bit too much right down on my lower abdomen right now. So I'm actually going to do my program as I'm sharing it with you. So I have a little bit of pounds I want to lose, and I know exactly why they are building. It's an emotional reason right now. So why do you want to lose weight? Is it an emotional reason? Do you want your body to be able to do more activity? Are you slowing down because you've got too much weight on you? Is it how you look? You don't like how you look, or you just want to look different? How do you want to be healthier? What do you want to be able to do with a healthier body? And how exactly do you want to look and why? So can you, if you close your eyes, can you picture how you want to look with less weight on your body? Can you picture? I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it with you. So let's take a long, slow breath and really relax into that image. What do you want to see when you look in the mirror? For some people, it's easy to picture. For some of my clients, it's not so easy. And there are a lot of factors. You can open your eyes now. But really starting to picture what you want to look at like and why you want to look that way, or how you want to be able to move and why you want to be able to move that way. So your why, that's step one. And you can spend, some real time thinking about what your targets are, because the more you have these concrete targets, that fuels your ability to use the strategies and tactics I'm going to share in here, the secrets to help you with your vision. Step two, triggers, your what. So basically, because there's really, we're not under physical attack as much as we were a few millennia ago as human beings. There are no more saber-toothed tigers. So we're treating sociological and psychological situations, things people say, situations we find ourselves in, where we feel threatened as our triggers to go into fight or flight. So when I work with someone, we go really deep on this. We need to discover your triggers. We're just going to touch on it here so you can get a little idea of what might be causing you to go into fight or flight. I like to say it's 4 A emotions. Anything that makes you feel angry, anxious, annoyed, or ashamed. And those are the emotions that once we enter into them, we tend to overreact. Can you think of a time right now, the last, say, 48 hours, where you've overreacted to something? Maybe you overreacted to a text on your phone. I did. Maybe you overreacted to something someone said to you, or overreacted to the weather, complained about the weather, overreacted to something that was outside of your control. You really couldn't control it. So what do you tend, or when do you tend to overreact? Those are some of your trigger points. What or who makes you overreact? Is there a person that you just have to see them, or you just have to see their caller ID, see that they're on your phone, and that causes you to overreact? When I started pressure-free coaching in 2010, my first clients were financial managers. It was the recession. And so I was working with a lot of people in the financial fields, and they would tell me they would just have to see a client's ID pop up on their, usually their business phone, see the ID, and that would cause an instant overreaction, instant anxiety, because they knew that client was going to be unhappy about how their funds were doing. So what makes you feel annoyed or angry? Overreaction, annoyed, angry. I don't get very anxious or angry, but boy, do I get annoyed. I can be annoyed at a lot of little things, and maybe you can too. So that's where I tend to be writing a lot of triggers down. What do you worry about? Do you have some worries that are kind of constant in your mind? I call it looping. They loop around and around and around. They could be worries about your future, about your past, about things that happened to you when you were little. So what do you worry about? And what or who, people can make you feel anxious. So who makes you feel anxious? Or what makes you feel anxious? Sometimes just knowing that you're going to see a certain person. Just sort of interesting statistic that you need to get about 1,000 miles away from your boss in order to truly take a vacation. And that means unplugged. So sometimes it's authority figures that could be making you feel really anxious. And then this last one here, what are you ashamed of? We've all done, I call them bonehead, we've all done things in our past that were not quite up to snuff. It's kind of a polite way to put it. You'll find that I'm a pretty gracious person and polite, but what are you ashamed of? I can think of so many things in my past that I have done, things I've said, almost every one of them is time I overreacted. And that really made me feel ashamed afterwards. So what are you ashamed of? Answering these questions is going to help you get to what your real triggers are. Now let's go to step 3. Step 3 is your how-to, your tools. I love tools. I love how-to. It's like, just tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. So my tools in Pressure Free fall into 3 categories. Body tools, how we use the body to stop ourselves from overreacting. Mind, and then what I call life design tools. Things like time management, goal setting, ways of thinking, a little different than the mind tools. And so I have these 3 types of tools to help you get started with the pressure-free method. And basically what we're doing is answering this question right here. So write this question down if you're taking notes. What can I do in the next 10 seconds to prevent the release of these hormones? The moment you feel angry, anxious, annoyed, or ashamed, you have about 10 seconds before those floods of hormones can go out to really mess with you. So what can you do in that 10-second period? That's where you're going to use the tools that I share. So you can start answering that question yourself. Maybe you're going to go for a walk and get away from the situation. There's so many things we can do. The tools are endless, but I have some very specific tools. In my full intro course, I have over 40 tools that I share. So let's dive in with my starter tool. I call this the Celebration Ferris Wheel, and it's a starter tool on purpose for you because in order to make some change happen in our lives, you need to celebrate tiny gains. I think one reason why we really have trouble losing weight and keeping it off is because we don't take time to celebrate when we've made even the tiniest of gains. And there's a wonderful book called Good to Great by Jim Collins that shares how celebrating incremental gains as a team in particular will fuel us to keep going on a project. It's the same for us with weight loss. If we celebrate these little gains, then it fuels us. Oh, I did that. Now I think I can do the next thing. Can we take on the next little chunk that we have to do to be successful? So I've built this tool called the Celebration Ferris Wheel. If you're afraid of Ferris wheels, don't worry, we're not getting on. Right now, you probably feel like you're on the hamster wheel, and we're running, right? So I want you to just get still for a moment, and we're going to step off the hamster wheel, get around behind it, and I want you to transform that hamster wheel into a beautiful Ferris wheel. Colorful, like this one here on the screen. Colorful, beautiful. And what we're going to do is every time you start to feel those 4 emotions, angry, anxious, annoyed, ashamed, you're going to push. You're going to push that Ferris wheel and get it spinning. The spinning is a metaphor for basically the energy of your life, for your survival, for your freedom out of stress and anxiety. Every time you push this in that 10-second interval and prevent the release of the hormones, you just prevented stress fat from building on your abdomen and in your arteries. You just protected your digestive system, so it's all going to work well for you. So we're going to push up like this, which is very silly, okay? It's a large motion on purpose. So do it with me, okay? Just push straight in the air. I know it's very funny. But when you do a large motion like this, it allows your brain to start to retrain. And lean in here. What we're really doing in Pressure Free is breaking years of habits of reaction, perhaps decades for you, but not just your own. We're actually breaking generations of habits, reactions, because most of the habits of reactions that you have, you learned from someone. They're not nature, it's nurture. You imitated people when you saw them have road rage. You imitated people when you saw them get upset when someone broke something. You imitated people when someone overreacted when you fell down and skinned your knee. We imitate, and we imitate the release of stress hormones going into fight or flight. So this large motion allows your brain to retrain for a moment and create new pathways. It's so cool. Everything that I've built in my courses is all based on science, which is why I know it works, which is why I know that sharing these tips with you can work for you and make a difference for you. I believe it will, and I believe in you. Because incremental little gains are the secret. So celebration of Ferris wheel means you're super celebrating. Yes, someone just texted something nasty to you, but you chose to not overreact. You pushed your Ferris wheel, your energy's spinning, and you're staying up and over the situation so you can have a clear-headed solution. Most people are living in fight or flight, and most people are communicating to you in a stress-based way. And they're not going to like the fact that you stay calm, by the way. That could fuel even more. So you gently need to teach them as well, the people that you love. But large motion is your first thing, and it's silly, so hopefully you will smile. When the corners of your mouth go up, you keep a chemical called dopamine flowing. Most people who are suffering from anxiety and depression, they're not truly smiling very much if you watch them in their quiet moments. So it's fascinating. Smiling, physiologically, the moment the corners of the mouth go up, so it can't be a fake smile that's kind of more down, like, doesn't work. It's a real smile. The corners going up releases dopamine. Dopamine fires the entire outer brain. How you think and remember back here and how you make decisions, your willpower. So when your willpower shuts off in fight or flight, it's because dopamine is shut off. A little smile is going to keep dopamine working for you. And now you can access your willpower. Isn't that cool? So smile is huge. There's a study from 1977. You can't find it on the internet anywhere because I believe it's kind of been blocked by the powers that be. I'm not sure who. But it was a study on smile therapy done at the University of California, Berkeley. I read about it 30 years ago in the University of Michigan Medical Library. And in the old days before internet. They had people smiling for a certain amount of time every day for, so every day during intervals. And all of these people were clinically depressed on medications. By the end of the trial, they were all off the medications. Smile therapy is free. Nobody makes any money from you smiling, except perhaps you, because people are going to know, like, and trust you better. And if you're in business, you're going to be a happier person and people are going to want to be a part of that. So smiling is free. It's a part of the Ferris wheel here. And the other thing is, go ahead and push your arms up and keep them up. And then gently bring your arms down and not change your posture. And you'll notice that you lifted your posture up. So posture is another pressure-free tool. It's a body tool that lifts you up and over your situation. So this starter tool is profound. All you need to think about is, I'm pushing my Ferris wheel. And that's going to help you get on the beginning of the path to stop overreacting whenever you feel angry, anxious, annoyed, or ashamed. Totally profound, totally based on science. It will work for you. So I want you to play with it, play with this idea. So that's my first secret. Kind of a long secret, but it's, I mean, in my full course, this is a full course. And I'm giving you just this little chunk of it here to help you get started. Secret number 2. Okay, there are chemicals that cause your body to create fat cells. Has nothing to do with the food you're eating, but your body will create fat cells when it comes in contact with these chemicals because there's a fear. These chemicals are toxic and dangerous, and there's a fear that you're going to need this fat to survive. Your body is miraculous. It's doing everything it can to help you survive. We're messing it up, right? So these are some of the chemicals. They're not all, there are many more, but these are some that you can actually do some things about. That's why I'm sharing them with you, because if you can reduce this chemical load a little bit, you're not going to have, and these are precursor cells that turn into fat cells. They could turn into other cells, muscle cells, nerve cells, skin cells, but they will turn into fat cells if these chemicals are around you and present. Okay, so this is huge. Imagine if you can actually lower some of your fat just because you've changed some products. It's pretty incredible. So the first are phthalates. They're in plastics, PVC pipes, cosmetics, sunscreens, personal care items, laundry, cleaning products. So you need to take a look and change out some of the ways that you're doing things and the ways that you're storing things. Like, are you storing things in plastics, or are you storing things in glass or enamel? So you can simply change out some of the ways that you're doing things in your fridge, in your cupboards. Get as much plastic out as you can. Start moving to glass. It lasts longer too. By the way, I'll demonstrate. I use ball jars. We drink with them. We put food in them. You know, nice glass, and it lasts. These are very durable, which is why we have to use them. I raised 3 boys and husband, and we're very active, and so we break a lot of things, and so these don't break very easily. So glass, it's a fabulous thing. Now your cosmetics, your sunscreens, your personal care items. All the makeup that I have on here, I purchased from a company that has reduced the toxic load as much as possible in all of their cosmetics, their sunscreens, all the personal care items, their laundry, and their cleaning products. So if this resonates with you, you want to learn more, that's a whole separate webinar that I do. And so just private message me after this, or connect with me, email, and I can share that with you because it's changed my life to not have those chemicals in my house. So ammonia. Ammonia is one. We think of it as a great cleaning product, but there are much better options. And so watch out for ammonia. It's really, really dangerous. And if you clean and you combine any sorts of, like even if you combine chlorine and vinegar, you're creating a toxic soup. So you need to be really careful about what you're using in your house. Ammonia, you don't need it at all. You can get rid of it totally in your house. Chlorine, you do not need it. The manufacturer that I purchase all of my products from, even the dishwashing pods, the dishwashing hand soap and the hand dishwashing, and the pods of the soap that goes in dishwashers, they're all chlorine free, which is amazing because think of asthma, allergies, and all this fat buildup in our bodies. It all happened after the dishwasher. Look at movies from the 1950s and early 60s, and then look at movies now and see how different body shape is. It's really interesting. People wash their dishes by hand with much less toxic products when my grandmother and my mother in her early years were. Then the dishwasher came around. Take a look at your dishwasher instructions. You cannot vent a dishwasher outside because of the toxic gas it produces. So where does the toxic gas go? It goes into your kitchen and you breathe it, and your fat cells love it. Actually, they don't love it. Your body doesn't want to produce so much fat, but it has to because it believes that you're now under attack. So look out for chlorine. Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde's sneaky because it's formalin, I think, is another way that you will see it written, and also just as like a numeric kind of thing. It's in cosmetics, sunscreen, shampoos. It's in baby shampoos. It's in cleaning products. It's in pressed wood products. It's in tobacco smoke. So formaldehyde is, highly dangerous to us, and it will cause your body to create fat cells. And then, of course, hormones in food supplies. So if you can go with hormone-free, growth hormone-free foods and grass-fed beef, whatever your choices are, I'm always very flexible with my clients to help them with what they need. But certainly you can reduce that load. And every little incremental bit you do, I want you to think of it this way. If you make an incremental change here today, where are you a month later? Where are you 6 months later? Where are you a year later? That's a huge change. So incremental little changes are how I operate as a coach, because I know if we try to take on too much, we fail. We just go back to our old ways. So this is a way that you can start to gain a little bit of fat reduction just by changing out some of the things that you use on a regular, everyday basis. So let's talk about this. Endocrine disruptors. That's what causes these fat cells. They stimulate the precursor cells to become fat cells. They increase, excuse me, the number of fat cells in your body, and they expand the size of the fat cells. They also increase the risk of insulin resistance that causes metabolism problems and leads to cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. So these are endocrine disruptors that we're talking about in this second secret here, that we want to have a little less exposure to. And even just a little less is going to help you so much. So here are some solutions for reducing endocrine disruptors. Remove all conventional cleaners, personal care products, and cosmetics from your home, especially ammonium bleach. The compounds leach through the plastic bottles into the air, so you have to remove all the bottles, everything. I didn't do that for a long time. And the month that I did, like got rid of all the bottles around the whole house, under the sinks and the cupboards everywhere, that's when our family really started to see true results. So you have to get rid of all the bottles because they leach out into the air all day long. Just take a walk down your grocery store cleaning product aisle. Can you smell all those items? They're in safety capped bottles, and yet you can still smell them. Pretty interesting, huh? Choose lines of products that provide healthier alternatives. Enhance your elimination process with more fiber. If you take more fiber in, it's going to help eliminate some of these endocrine disruptors. It's going to clean your body more. And then help your liver out, because your liver's dealing with these toxins. So drink green tea, choose foods that cleanse like garlic, grapefruit, beets, carrots, leafy green vegetables, apples, olive oil, quinoa, and buckwheat. So these are some foods that can really help you. These are all foods, by the way, on the macrobiotic diet from back in the, late 70s, 80s. Anyone who had cancer was working naturally. They'd go on the macrobiotic diet, and all these foods are right on there. Watch grapefruit, of course, if you're on high blood pressure medicine. And of course, if you're on medications, please check your physician with any diet changes that you're making to make sure you don't have anything that's going to counteract what you're trying to do with your medicines. But these are just some really wonderful things that you can do. Even if you just do one little thing, it's going to make a huge difference for your body. All right, this is a big secret. One of those lean-in ones. Okay, secret number 3. You have a hidden story that wants you to be overweight. I'm going to say it again so you can really get it to sink in. You have a hidden story that wants you to be overweight. Now, these stories can take it can be in so many different forms. So I'm going to go through this. It's actually a 6-step. Do I have 6 steps here? Yeah, 6 steps. I've got a bonus tip too. 6 steps that I use with my clients to help tease out these stories and help prevent fear of failure, overcome fear of failure, and really step into a new story. And I've learned this from so many different coaches, and I've pulled together all kinds of wonderful tips from different coaches, including the wonderful coach John Assaraf and my personal coach Maria Andros. So this is my 6-step framework to do that work. The first is aim, like targets. What are you aiming for? So if your aim is to lose weight, there's some hidden story that's blocking that for you, or you would have already been successful. Okay, so we've got to get clear about the aim, the why that you already started to develop in the pressure-free method, the targets. The next step, this is super hard and powerful, and that's why I really encourage people to do it with a coach or a therapist. You need to acknowledge what's in your past that could be blocking you from moving into the future you wish for yourself. So for example, for me, I know that as in the very moments that I am sharing this particular webinar with you and recording this for those of you watching the recording, I have built some, I have a hidden story that's adding weight to me right now. And the hidden story is that my youngest is graduated, and he will be leaving for college in the fall. And I thought I was all ready to be an empty nester, but I'm being really honest here. I'm not. Ooh, I don't want to cry. I love my children. I've loved being a mother to my children so very much. And I made choices. I didn't go in my particular career direction after graduate school because I wanted a family. And I've had a beautiful life with my family, 26 years of raising beautiful children, 3 gorgeous sons. And so my body is hanging onto fat, building fat, because it's like, I think I want another baby. And so I need to let go of that hidden story. That's just a little taste of what acknowledging a hidden story is about. Hidden stories could be about all kinds of things, and I'll talk about it more in a moment. We need to analyze. Once you've figured out some of those hidden stories, we need to analyze, okay, what story do I really want to tell myself? I want my child to go off and he's going to have an incredible college education at an Ivy League school. It's so exciting. He's doing this, and so I want to be free of this tightness for him as well as for myself, so analyzing what I truly want and what I need to start to change up. How do I need to change my story? How do you need to change your story? And then affirm. You need to take some time to write out your new story for your weight, for your body, for your health, your willpower, everything you can think of that leads you to your aim. You need to write out the new story, and then you need to start to affirm it daily, sometimes many times a day. And then we need to take action and put the strategies and tactics, some of these secrets I'm sharing with you today as a start, that's going to power you toward your goal, toward your aim. And then lastly, we need to account. We need to get accountability partners. I have 3 for my goals in my life. We need people who will help us stay accountable, coaches, accountability partners, family members who care, truly care about where we want to go in life and why we want to get there. And then I'm going to give you a bonus tip too. I'm going to give you something I call Flip the Switch. This is a tool from my courses, and it's a powerful one. But first, let's dive into this aim, acknowledge, analyze. Aim. What do you really want your body to look like, feel like, and move like? Acknowledge. What are the deep, hidden stories that you've been living concerning your body? Could be any part of your body, by the way. You might have to ferret out some things. Analyze. Oh, I go back to acknowledge for a moment. It can also be things that people have said to you about your body. Oh, she's the fat girl. Oh, he's always been a little overweight. Things that you've heard your whole life that could be part of that block in that story. Analyze. What stories do you want to release? And what is the new story you are creating for yourself? Here are some stories that I have heard from my clients. I've said myself. So these are ones you can really go a little deeper with. One is, I just don't have time to eat right and exercise. Have you ever said that? Raising my hand. I was working full-time with all my pregnancies. I was working full-time. My husband was a stay-at-home dad, and then we switched when my youngest was born. But all through my pregnancies, I just didn't have time to eat right and exercise. I had to get back to work. It was terrible. So I've said that. What I have is genetic. Everyone in my family is overweight. Or everybody in my family has diabetes. Deep in my course, I actually show people how you can actually change what's happening to your very DNA when you use pressure-free, go deep. I'll never keep the weight off. I've always been the fat one. I'm just not strong enough to change. I wish I had more children. I'll never recover from my trauma. You're holding the fat because of trauma, something that happened to you. So those are some of the stories. What is the new story? I find moments throughout my day to exercise. I'm keeping my DNA healthy. I'm finally releasing this weight. I have a new opportunity to create my health. By the way, you have a new opportunity to create your health every moment. Even after you've eaten something that you shouldn't have eaten, that very next moment is a new blank page. It's a new opportunity. It's easy, though, to beat ourselves up for hours. Oh, God, I shouldn't have eaten that. I now have the willpower to change my destiny. I am blessed to have the children I have in my life. I'd be grateful for what we do have. I have learned from my trauma. It strengthens me. Traumas give us empathy. They strengthen us. You are a survivor. If you're listening to this, watching this recording right now, or on live with me here, you're a survivor. You are here. Affirm, act, account. Affirm each day at least once. Read aloud your new story. Affirm your direction and your intention. This is your life. You deserve to put your intentions down on paper and read them. Act. Write out your plan. Take action, however small, every day. Just a little bit of action, a little bit of shift on your trajectory is going to make a huge difference months down the road. And then account. Find someone that will hold you accountable to your plan no matter what. And then here's a bonus tip to help you when the doubt creeps in. It's called the pressure freeze, flip the switch tool. Flip the switch. Okay, this is a very basic tool on pressure free, but so profound. When you start to hear your mind saying some of the old stories, it's genetic. I'm never going to lose this weight. It's too hard. I don't have time to exercise. Whatever that, do you see how my body's kind of going down every time I say it? I want you to smile. You won't feel like smiling, by the way, but I want you to smile to keep the dopamine flowing so you can think straight. And then the slogan that I use here, slogan is one of my tools, is caught you. So I actually look up into my head and go, caught you. You're catching your negative voice taking you down. Let's catch that voice. And the next is ask an empowering question to shift your mindset into solution versus miring down in the negativity. Ask the empowering question, how can I? What can I? So how can I heal myself? How can I take the first step to go for a walk today? How can I, what can I? I went for a beautiful walk today. It felt so beautiful to do so and to take that time for myself to do it. Of course, I multitask too. How can I, what can I? Okay, great. Those are huge secrets. You use those secrets, it's going to make a huge difference in your life. But I want to throw in some bonuses for you, okay? So Food for Fuel formula is one of them. These are suggestions, by the way. Please check with your physician to make sure that these suggestions are appropriate for you. They're not really food-oriented, really. It's more about how you work with your food. So here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, these are empowering questions. When you think about eating something, ask one of these questions. Does this fuel me? Does this serve me? If the answer is no, ask yourself what does. Like, what can I choose that will fuel me? Fuel your body, okay? Treat yourselves well. Don't reach for a treat. Treat yourselves well. So ask yourself these questions. Does this fuel me? Does this serve me? If the answer is no, ask yourself what does. You're going to start to make little tiny switches, okay? Little tiny switches. The next is separate drinking your water from eating. I learned this from an incredible vegan chef and a health coach. And I knew this years and years ago, but I never practiced it. And now I practice it. And I'm going to raise my hand. I still don't drink enough water, but at least I'm not waterlogging my fuel. So I want you to think of building a fire for a moment. We don't want dry wood, right? Because if the wood is wet, it's not going to burn very well. It's going to be all smoky and congested. That's what happens when we drink water with the food that we're trying to burn. So you want to hydrate yourself about 30 minutes before you eat or anytime before then, and then 30 minutes after. And when you're eating your meal, keep it to your food, your fuel, so that your fuel can burn really well in your body. Your digestive juices can really work well on it. Otherwise, they're waterlogged. Does that make sense? So think of building a fire and you don't want wet wood. So you don't want wet fuel. So this one is hard, I'll admit, but maybe it won't be for you. It was hard for me. What's hard for me might be easy for you. I shouldn't put any contingencies on it because this could be so easy for you. I've had to really work on it, and I still work on it. But I would say 80% of the time now, I don't drink my water with my food. I separate it. And it's been huge for me. So I know it can help you too. Breathe. All right, and this is actually a little system here. Step 3 is a system. Breathe. So breathe the aroma of your food to release saliva. I was sharing this idea of breathing with, I learned it from this vegan chef again, but I was sharing it with a naturopath doctor from Thailand who was practicing in LA. And she says, well, you will see a lot of people in Asian cultures breathe their food first. Breathe it in. And that's because when you breathe in, it triggers your saliva ducts to release saliva. So now your mouth is ready to start digesting the food. The first place you digest your food is your mouth. If you didn't know that, that's like so huge. It's not your stomach, it's your mouth with your saliva ducts. My saliva ducts are really working right now. So that's why, let's say you're giving a speech at a meeting and it's a lunch meeting and your mouth has gone dry because you've gone into fight or flight. You're a little nervous about public speaking. And now you're trying to eat the lunch and it just doesn't feel good. You're thirsty. You're trying to get the water in. So everything is messed up for your digestion in that moment. So it's fascinating when your saliva is working for you. And you can start to get that going by breathing in the smell of your food. Then you want to take a bite and chew many times. Some people say 33, some people say 100. Basically, chew until your food is really liquefied, super liquefied, okay? And that means you're already digesting so much right here that when you start to swallow it and it goes down, it's going to be very easy for the whole rest of your body to do the digestion process. And then I want you to totally relax the whole front of your body. Relax your abs. Put your hand on your belly for a moment. Relax them. I don't care how big our bellies are right now. Take a nice slow breath in because we're going to breathe in the food. And now you're ready for your second bite. Now, granted, if you do this formula this way, it's going to take you a long time to eat. I'll never forget the first time I actually, every single bite, did it this way. And it took me, like, I had a plate of raw vegetables and hummus, and it was a big plate. It was a lot of food. And actually about 80% of the way in, I was full. So the other thing is portion size. If you do this formula, you'll probably eat a lot less. And when I did my, the reason I'm sharing all this with you is because I actually did a whole trial program of my whole course on this. And I gave a free retreat to anyone who came into my course. And at the retreat, I served everyone went up and got some fruit. And we ate the fruit like this, and most people could only eat half of the piece of fruit. They were full. So it's pretty amazing. Your portion size will change naturally when you just do this formula. The next is to eat, last tip here is eat 5 small meals per day about 3 hours apart. Your body can only properly metabolize a certain number of calories at any one time. So if you eat more than your body's particular number, it's just going to convert that into fat because it doesn't know what to do with it. I learned this from a personal trainer I worked with for a while. And so play with this concept, play with these ideas, eating smaller amounts, smaller portion sizes, more times a day. So you're gently fueling your body and you're not overtaxing your body by not processing your digestion properly. So this food for your formula, if you even take just a little chunk of it, it will be so huge for you. So I hope you gain some good tips from this. Oops, let's see. I'm going to get my next slide. There we go. Bonus secret right here. It takes males up to 9 hours to clear stress hormones out of their cells from one release. It takes women up to 24 hours, which explains a whole gender difference thing with stress. 9 hours and 24 hours, both are way too long. And what happens once we're in fight or flight, we trigger again and again and again. I call it the big downward cycle. It's time to step out. Don't you feel it's time to step out? What would your life be like if you could step out? What if? What if you could learn to stop the stress hormones that block your willpower? What if you could reduce the stress fat on your abdomen and in your belly? You could easily change up the toxins in your home. That's an easy one. What if you could rewrite the stories that have stopped you from reaching your weight loss goals in the past? Those little nasty hidden stories. What benefits would you experience? Would you be healthier? Say these with me. I would be healthier. I would be healthier. I would have more energy. I would be less anxious and depressed. I would feel more empowered. I would save money on health costs in the future. Health costs are just only going to get bigger. What else would change for you? What other benefits would you start to experience? Now I want to share some next steps on the journey. First, I truly want to celebrate that you came on this webinar. Knowledge is power, and you are now empowered. You have some secrets that very few people have about weight loss and keeping the weight off. Next, making a decision. Making a decision to use what you've learned here today. Then, you might hear my dog barking. Sorry about that. She's a little old. I'll get to her in a moment here. Determination. What do you need to do to make daily progress? You know, determination can be really hard. I've fallen off the bandwagon. You know, it's so easy to be distracted. And then deserving. You are deserving. You are worth investing the time and energy and money it takes to change years, generations, and destructive habits. I believe that. I believe that you are worthy, and I believe that you deserve to be on this journey and make these changes for your health. And, you know, sometimes I have clients, it's really hard for them to do things for themselves, but they'll do it for their children. They'll do it for their grandchildren. They'll do it for their spouses and partners because they love them. They love them more than they love themselves. Does that touch on nerve for you too? Like, it's hard for you to do things for yourself. Otherwise, you probably would have lost the weight and kept it off because you're thinking about it, you're doing it for you. But what if you're doing this for others too? It's not just about you, but it's this whole collective energy. I believe that our families and our communities and our world gets healthier one person at a time. Each one of us getting healthier. So you are worth investing in. You have so much to do in your life. You have people to love and to be with. You have special gifts and talents that only you have that enrich your family, your community, and the world. You are worth investing in. Do you know deep inside that you might need some help with this? How committed are you to making a change? Where will you be 6 months from now if you don't make a change with your weight loss and your health in general? On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being very committed, I want you to write down your commitment level. How committed are you to making a change? How much do you want this? Do you see that you can try to do this on your own? But looking back at your track record, you're not sure if you'll succeed? Do you already feel some doubt creeping in and that this might not even be possible for you? Maybe some skepticism? Is your old story sneaking in? The genetic story, I'm not worthy. You know, doubt is really amazing. Doubt stops us from reaching our goals. I hear you, and I'm here to help you. I've created a 90-day program specifically designed for you. You'll receive unconditional support to help you stay accountable, free of judgment on your journey. I will help you step out of the fear and move through the blocks that have prevented you from achieving your weight loss goals in the past. So you are invited to join me for this exclusive 90-day program. I call it Pressure Free's Weight Loss Course. Simple steps to lose weight and keep it off, even if you've tried and failed in the past. That was me. Is this your time? I want you to think for a moment, if not now, when? Is this your time? You've come on this webinar here. You've taken this time to be here with me. What's your next step? What are you doing next? So I want to invite you to join me for this exclusive 90-day program. Here's what you'll learn in 6 sessions of videos and worksheets. In session 1, we go deep into how to instantly boost your willpower and start reducing stress fat. Session 2, we're going to use that food for fuel formula to easily lose weight and improve digestion. I'm going to give you the whole formula. In session 3, I'm going to give you simple steps to free your body to move and improve your shape. In session 4, I'm going to give you routines that help you stay the course and reach your goals. And I'm going to help you create the ones that work for you. Session 5, we're going to refocus, reset, and recover. Because when the going gets tough and you want to give up, you need to know how to refocus and recharge yourself. Press that reset button. So I have specific tools to help you do that. And then session 6 is a fast-track goal-setting formula to help you create the lifelong habits you desire. How this pressure-free weight loss program works. Here's what you're going to receive in the program. So I have 6 coaching sessions, and they come out to you 2 each month of 3 videos, worksheets, and bonuses, all sent to your email account. So there's a value of $900 with all of those coaching sessions. Then I have a very special pressure-free body Facebook group. These are my clients who have taken any of my weight loss courses, my pilot program, people who like you. So it's a very special, secret little private Facebook group, and you have access to that. So in that group, you might find an accountability partner, or you might find a good friend, just someone on the journey with you. And I provide content in that group for you. So at any point, you can go down through the feed and see things I've popped in there, and then you can just see the new things, the new encouragement that I'll put in there for you. 3 live trainings. I will do 1 per month. I will do a live training in that private Facebook group. So it's in there. If you can't come on live, you can go back and watch it. And then access to various videos and book chapters from my pressure-free library to help you. So every time I send out a session to you, I give you bonus material. Things that if you want to go deeper, if this touches on something that really is helpful to you, I know you're going to want to go deeper. So I give you some bonus material too. So plenty of content, but also provided to you in a very user-friendly way so you don't feel overwhelmed, because overwhelm can kill us. It can prevent us, it can cause us to overreact, right? So this is how this works. This is what you get. And the total value of everything that I provide in this package for you over the 3 months, the 90 days, is $2,300 of material. But your investment for coming on this webinar and seeing this with me is only $497. And I've broken it into payments too, because I know sometimes it's hard to get started, and $497 might be a big chunk for you. So you can get started today for just $179, and then 2 more payments over the next 2 months. So $497 full pay, $197 over 3 months. Now there's 2 special bonuses I want to give you just for watching this webinar and coming on tonight. So if you purchase my program from watching this webinar, basically I'm going to give you a free complimentary coaching session, one-on-one with me. You can do it by phone, by webinar, or if you're close to me in person, or you want to fly in and have a one-on-one in person. And then 2 free tickets to my next live event. So that's another $1,100 in value to you. So total value is $3,400. Again, your investment is just $497. I call it an investment because that is an investment in you. You're investing in something right now. Maybe you're investing in healthcare because of your conditions. Maybe you're investing in desserts. I'm raising my hand on that one. What are you spending money on? Maybe you just bought a new car. You know, what are you spending the money on to try and make yourself feel good? This here is an investment that pays dividends for the rest of your life. And my clients tell that over and over again. One of my clients has lost and kept off 27.5 pounds. When she gets to 50, she's giving me a huge testimonial. It's been 9 months, she's actually kept that off for the first time, not yo-yoing. Because we got to her secret reason why. By the way, it was because she paid in full and she got this bonus, the bonus private coaching session that did it for her. But you can get started for just $179. I want you to check your inbox. It's already there. So right now, I want you to just click, get on your inbox, either on your phone or on your computer. I'm sending you information right now in an email. I sent it the moment you clicked to start to watch this webinar. If you're watching the replay. So if you're watching the recording, check your inbox. If you're here live, check your inbox. There's an email right now that gives you a click away from coming into this program. Coming into a program that's truly going to change your life. Change the trajectory from where you're headed now to where you can become healthier, happier, and really get to the hidden stories as to why you're hanging on to this fat and how can we release it for you. So I hope you've enjoyed these secrets. I hope you took some good notes. You know, if you want to go back and watch this again, feel free, just click. You've got the access to it right now. And this is access for a limited time, so I'm not sure when I'll take it down, but I will take it down at some point. So please jump on this webinar again if you want to watch it again. But more importantly, just $179 to get started, $497 full pay. Check your inbox and click today. I encourage you to. Your journey starts today. Your pressure-free journey, your pressure-free weight loss journey starts today. And I would be honored to help you on that journey. So I want to thank you so much. Let me just stop my share and come up nice and big for you here. To close out. And, you know, again, we're going to go into question and answer in just a moment here for those of you online and for those of you on the replay or watching this recorded. I really appreciate you coming on all the way to the end of this. And I hope those bonuses are enticing for you. Coming to one of my retreats, it's life transforming. And for me to offer 2 tickets, you could come and bring your spouse, partner, friend, daughter, husband, you know, anyone. Anyone that you feel could benefit from this, your wife. I coach, 2/3 of my clients are male, so I coach men and women in pressure-free and in these programs. So they are life-changing, they pay dividends for years to come, and I would be honored to begin work with you and have you join this special program. So thanks so much, and again, take a look at my website, stay in touch with me, let me know if these secrets are helpful, just pop me an email sometime, I would love to know. And I'm signing off for tonight, and I'm Elle Ingalls, and I'm wishing you a beautiful pressure-free night. Bye.